Hi guys. So first exercise after the warm-up is rock, paper, scissors. So you'll see players up the top here, they'll be standing a yard or so away from each other, maybe even closer, and it's just rock, paper, scissors. I'm sure we've all played it before. Whichever player wins, and let's say in this case it's the blue player, both players have to try and sprint to get to the white line. Whichever player wins gets the point. Decide how many times you want the players to play, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, however many sprints you want to get, how many accelerations you want to get into their session, and from there you can progress it on so that the players include a ball. Now you can have players doing sole taps or toe taps on the ball, whatever you want on the ball, and then on the coach's call of go, the player has to try and steal the ball from the opponent and get to the red line. Because you're working with one player on the ball and one player off the ball, the line is closer than when both players are just sprinting alone. So this is an exercise that I do during my warm-ups for my matches. That's why it's called the warm-up game. And you'll see that it is in two sections. So the first section is players working along the horizontal axis there, and all they have to try and do is dribble across the end line. When they dribble across that line, they turn and they work in the opposite direction. If in this case the blue team were to steal the ball, they just go straight to the other line. When the opposition win the ball, they're just working opposite to the team who had possession. Alright, so you don't need to keep track of who's trying to score where, it's just opposite to who's got the ball. When I say change, I give the teams 3 goals to defend. So in this situation I might say reds, you're defending the 3 goals at the top, blues, you're defending the 3 goals at the bottom. Now we're going from a long and narrow game to short and wide. So I do want to see in the first section of it lots of penetrating runs, penetrative passes, and then in the second section, can we move the ball side to side to try and find that chink in the opposition's armour to get through to one of the goals. Variation of what we've just done, the team in possession, blue, are trying to score in the goals. If they score a goal, they grab another ball and they just work the opposite direction. The team in red are trying to dribble through the wide gates. So for the team who are trying to score centrally, how can we transition from trying to attack centrally to defending wide, and vice versa for the opposition? The progression to this game is, if a team dribbles through one of the gates, they then attack the goals. And it works the opposite way, so if a team scores in the goal, they just continue to work backwards and forwards to the goals. And as I said, if a team dribbles through one of the gates, they then attack the opposite goal. For the second session this week, I changed up the warm-up a little bit, and it's similar to one that we did previously, where I was working on throw-ins for chest, thigh or foot. This time I'm just asking the players to use an underarm throw to get the players heading the ball back to them. So it's head, chest or thigh and back. We did 3 little sections. So the first one was just your slower, more dynamic movements, getting the ball back to the player through the middle, doing those FIFA 11 type things. Players swap over, do the same thing. Second time through it's a little bit quicker. Third time through the players are receiving a proper throw-in as they would in a game, and it is control, get the ball down, dribble through some traffic, and then find a spare player on the outside to pass to. Players in that one do not need to go back through their FIFA 11 type movements. This exercise is a little bit of an adaptation of a session that I did previously that was a possession box with shooter striking. What we've got here is 4 players shooting, 4 servers, and say this player here who's about to shoot, he will receive 1 ball from almost straight and then 1 ball diagonally. Strikers have got 2 touches maximum to shoot, and both strikers must have 2 shots. Whichever pair gets their 4 shots away first, the coach will give them the ball. So if it's the Reds, 4 shots taken, they'll turn, they'll receive the ball, and then it becomes a 2v2 to goal. If the Blues were to finish first, they would get the ball. One of the things that I did play with was the team who scored the most shots gets the ball, or the team who get the most shots on target get the ball. So you can play with that one yourself. Progression to this is adding in wingers. So if the red team were to get the ball first, they could play in one of the wingers, and then it becomes a 4v2. Both wingers will play with the reds to goal, if the Blues were to steal the ball, the wingers would change teams and it would be 4v2 the other way. A progression to this one is, and the reason that the wingers are in opposite colours is, if the Reds play in the yellow, there will be 1, 2, 3 players there, and the green will join the Blues to make it a 3v3. The Reds or Blues, whoever gets the ball first, can choose which player they want to play in. So if the green was a little bit higher and the Blues could play a through ball quickly to the green, then they could choose that player, or vice versa. If it was the yellow who was higher up and they could play that quick through ball, they can do that. But then it becomes a 3v3. Finishing off this game with perfect hat-trick. Now, a perfect hat-trick is a goal with the left foot, right foot and one with the head. So what I had done was I had said for a team, if they got left foot, right foot and headed goal, they win the match. Game's being played as normal. If your team score a goal, it just counts as 1. But as soon as your team get those 3 goals, you just win the game outright. I've done this in the past where it has been blocks of 5-minute games and we've just kept a progressive score going for those 5-minute games, and if anyone gets the 3 goals in one of those 5-minute games, they win outright, but we will continue with our series of games. Final session for the week, and again after a good warm-up we go into Run Rabbit Run. This is almost the same session that I did 2 weeks ago, and initially it's 1 touch backwards and forwards, and if a player wants to get 1 point, the red player starting here, they just go behind them straight to the line. If they want 2 points, they have to take a touch past their opponent and get to the line before them. Again, going back into the 4-goal 1v1, working for 90 seconds, and again we did 9 games of this, and I just laid it out so that players would be promoted or relegated depending on how well they did in that 90 seconds. To continue with the theme of 1v1s, I played a game with 5 1v1 zones. Now, you can put these zones wherever you want your players to get the ball and drive at the opposition. So I was looking at the attacking wingers and one of our midfielders to get and go. If a team scores a goal via a 1v1 or someone dribbling through these boxes, they get 2 points. If a goal scored any other way, it's 1 goal as normal. That's the 3 sessions for the week, guys. Hopefully you can take something from that, adapt it to fit your needs. I'd love to hear your feedback on it. Cheers!